Welcome, VDL people, to the Week 5 Power Rankings. This is the 5th season, so we have Season 5, Week 5 Power Rankings. I am Sakimoto24. I've been doing these this season, and alongside me has been my pal, Goomer22.
Here we are, 5th week. Exciting week. Really exciting.
Yeah, we're starting to get a better eye of who's gonna be fighting for those playoffs, who's in good position, who's in bad position, and then we can kind of you can kind of scope out those final few matches of the season and see what you need to do in order to squeak in if that's what position you're in. So I guess we hop into the Week 5 matches and talk about them a bit.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so first of all. Sorry, my screen's kind of going crazy. First of all, the kill leaders. We've got a 3-way tie. And then, actually, I believe it's like a 2 or 3-way tie for second with 12 kills. But we got a 3-way tie for the kill leaders. We got the Buzzwall from the Brisbane Basicans. And
making an appearance.
Yeah, the Buzzwall. I didn't even know it was up there. And then now, all of a sudden, it jumped in. It's tied in first.
Yep, and we've seen the Finney and the Doug trio up there all along, kind of.
Yep, and they remain up there. The Sussex Stabilized. I don't even know if they brought Finney this week or if it really did much. But we'll talk about their match, later. But yeah, they're still sitting up there. Finney's been really good for them, and the Killer Crocodiles. That Doug trio has been really good for them. But again, I don't think it did too much this week. Yep, but still been very good overall this season. And yeah, those are your kill leaders. So I guess we hop in and let's talk about the first match. Dilfu versus the Bolton Bashers. Bolton Bashers take it 2-0.
Yeah, it was an interesting match. So game one got a little tricky. I was running hydro pump on Walreen and got into a position where I was trying to take out this Marowak, and I had a Hitmontop who couldn't hit the Marowaks. Well, I could hit with Sucker Punch actually. So, but that was a 3-shot. So I was really just trying to get rid of it with this Hydro Pump. But I ended up missing 2 in a row. And the Dilfu actually had a pretty interesting creative set on the Sableye, which with a little more luck could have gotten the win for him. I believe it was Confuse Ray, Foul Play, Fake Out, and Helping Hand. With leftovers. It was like bulky Sableye. It was pretty interesting, the Confuse Ray coming out. You don't really see that move too often. But I think it's pretty interesting. I think it was like a third chance to confuse yourself.
I think that's what it is.
So, I mean, hey, not bad odds. And I mean, it happened a couple times, but it wasn't enough to sway the game. Was able to, come out with the win in game one, and then game two, just kind of started smacking things with Drapion. That sniper Razor Claw did work, and was able to clean it up with a 2-0 this week. So that puts me at 4-1.
Big win for the Bashers, trying to fight for their good position in the division. So the next match we'll hop into is, or I guess we'll talk about, is the Conway Embers take the 2-0 over the Waterloo Warriors, who I lost to last week. They've got a scary team. I think I actually predicted the Embers to win. And part of the reason is because the Rillaboom looked really nice into the Warriors team. Looks really nice into that. The fake out's nice against the Urshifu, and the Grassy Glide is always interesting, and he can reset terrain. So, if he does get the Grassy terrain up, he can just roast that Indeedee if he wants to. So, I didn't see the match, but I did see that it was a 2-0. I saw the battle report. I believe Rillaboom got a couple kills. So, I'm a big fan of that Rilucha or whatever. I don't know what name you could name it. Rillaboom, Hawboom.
Hollaboom.
Hollaboom. Yeah, that's the best.
Hollaboom.
Those are way better than my suggestions. Hollaboom. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I feel like we only saw like half the matches this week, maybe.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big content week, that's for sure. But maybe some people are still getting their videos out, you know. So that's fair. But yeah, like you said, Embor's got the 2-0. It looked like the Warriors didn't even use that Urshifu. But yeah, a little terrain war going on with the Indeedee and the Rillaboom probably. It looks like Crustle and Lapras picked up 2 KOs each in game 2. So
I did see that.
And honestly, like, you know, Warriors, they had to take a forfeit loss 1 week. I thought they played excellent against me, and I barely squeaked out the win. They got to win against you when you were undefeated. I mean, they're a really strong team, really scary, like you said. So Embor's picking up the win there is, I mean, that's just a good showing, especially the 2-0. To show that they're a threat in this league, and you can't discount the Embors. I mean, they may be 2 and 3, but I don't think that really reflects their skill per se.
No, true. I think they are a very good team, and they seem like they have a plan every week, and they definitely they're not Dynamaxing, they're not bringing any like choice band Emolga stuff or whatever. They don't even have that Pokemon, but you know what I'm talking about. They're just playing good Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I mean, I thought they played well against me. I got a little bit lucky in my game against them. So, I mean that happens. You know, everybody gets some RNG. So, thankfully, I squeaked out with a win against them. But yeah, I think Embors are definitely have some potential to come back this season.
I definitely agree. So the next match we'll talk about is my match, and I took a 2 over the Crushing Silvales. All I'm going to say is Mamoswine had a good week. It was actually a really interesting matchup. So it was kind of this really, really crazy layered mind game of, okay, Mamoswine looks amazing into his steam because Ice and Ground look awesome into his electric mode and the Landorus, and some of his other Pokemon as well, the Noivern. So I really want to bring Mamoswine. Now the problem with Mamoswine is, it can't be intimidated because it's oblivious, but it was weak to fighting. So and my opponent has they have, the Raichu could have Focus Blast, which is maybe a little riskier, less expected, but Landorus could go for a superpower. He has Scrafty with his close combat and other fighting moves as well, so it's kind of a little bit scary there. But at the same time, you don't want to. Those are mons both have Intimidate, and you really don't want to bring those Pokemon against a Milotic, which could have Competitive, and I actually brought that. And Landorus, Therian, its only ability is Intimidate, so if Landorus was going to come, it would have to bring Intimidate. So knowing that, I brought the Competitive Milotic. The Silvales decided not to bring any Intimidate. To give me that proc, but they had at the same time the Silvales they want to bring that electric mode because they want to handle the Milotic, but at the same time the Mamoswine counters the electric mode, and they can't bring their Intimidate mons because that can defeat Mamoswine because the Milotic. It was just weird, crazy. I don't know. There were some other things that I'm not going to go too much detail into the matchup, but it was just really crazy mind game of like what to bring and what the other opponent's going to bring. But I just ended up making the right calls, like with my Ice Shards. Then game 1 I protected in coaching at first, and the Noivern ended up protecting, and then my Ice Sharded the next turn, and then game 2 I kind of made a read that my opponent would think I would protect, and then I went for the Ice Shard. Got really lucky there, and it put me in really good position, and it worked out. But it wasn't anything of a bashing. I did get the 2-0, but I think I just Mamoswine got into good position, did really well, and that was kind of the match.
And yeah, I think that's fair. And the Silvales, I think, made some trades too. I think it'll be interesting to see how they utilize their new mons. They got rid of that Landorus.
Yeah, and I was actually talking with him after the match, and I totally agree with what he was saying. He's just saying that Landorus having to run Intimidate against Pokemon like with competitive or Defiant is really hard, and just that 4x Ice weakness is brutal, especially for that like a big tier 1. Like in Draft, it's easier to counter those Pokemon because you can just put Ice coverage or whatever coverage you need on whoever you're bringing. As whereas
Yeah, I mean, I think I was gonna say in normal VGC, like it's not like it's not bad because not everyone's just gonna be running all those ice moves. But in draft,
yeah.
non-Dynamax, you can't get that extra bulk by Dynamaxing and throwing off max airstreams. You basically don't have stab in Series 10 non-Dynamax. So draft Series 10, kind of rough. Not to say that you can't make Landorus work. I think it's still pretty good, but it might be a little bit harder to make it work for sure as a tier 1.
Yep. And it has put in some work for him. I know it did work against, who was it? Was it the Bristol Beavers, the Crocodile? It was somebody.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it was Tokyo Terrors, actually. The choice band Landers did work, but yeah, he's just not wanting to deal with that 4x weakness anymore, so we'll see how his team plays out after those trades. The next match, I didn't see it. I don't think there was a recording.
Yeah, I think Taco's probably just working on uploading it here in the next week or so. Who knows?
Yep. So eventually we'll see it, but the
I did.
What's that?
I was gonna say I did check the battle report though.
I didn't even see the battle report. What happened there?
Well, I mean, as you know, Taco has that good sun mode, so it looks like game 1, Neolego got 3 kills, which I guess is not surprising there. Although Mantans do have that Mudsdale, so interesting to see how it got through that. But I will say that on the battle report here, it looks like Wartortle came both games and actually got a kill both games for the Celestillas, which I think Wartortle is it's definitely interesting with Eviolite. It's got some bulk. It's got some tools. I know we've both used it in a multi-battle league where you get access to all its transfer moves like Follow Me and stuff, which makes it really good. But without Follow Me, I wasn't really sure how useful it might be. I mean, it gets fake out still, which is nice. But Womble using it to good effect here. Picking up a kill in each game and yeah, showing that it's not just a throwaway tier 5.
I love me some Wartortle. And yeah, glad to see it did well. So the Celestillas beat one of the top teams, honestly. I think they were a top shelf team last week. And they might still be, but yeah. Yep.
Well, and that's tough too. I know Womble's gotten some forfeit wins this season, which you might say, oh, it's free wins, but it does kind of suck not being able to play your games because it's less time to kind of figure out how your team plays as well. You can theory craft as much as you want, but sometimes you don't realize until you're actually in game what's good or bad. Maybe sets to run for your mons or stuff like that. So, always getting some experience by playing, getting to actually play your game is nice.
Yep. So the next game, I don't know, was, speaking of games that weren't played, I did Rebellion play the Grimsnarls?
No, they still haven't played. We're not quite sure what's going on with the Hidden Leaf Grimsnarls here. They were on a little bit of a hot streak, doing well, but I guess haven't heard from them recently. So maybe we'll get a replacement coach. Who knows? I think at this point, I think it's safe to say that Rebellion, might get a forfeit win, considering it's about a week delayed right now. But, who knows? Maybe a replacement might come in, and Rebellion will face that coach. But yeah, that's unfortunate when you never know what's going on with people. So,
yep. So, Solution
haven't heard much.
Solution doesn't smoke any boots this week, potentially, but he didn't get his boots smoked. So, I think he'll take that.
True.
So I didn't see this next game either. Do you know if it was recorded?
No, I don't think it was. I don't think either of them record.
I did see that the coughing and Regigigas was brought again, at least for game 1, and again falls short. But Glacier got some wins on the side of the Terrors, which Glacier hasn't been nearly as good in I think Series 10 or this Series 10 league. So, but yeah, it was nice to see it do really well in this matchup. Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, considering that the Slowpokes brought Absol, Comfey, Coughing, and Gigas, doesn't seem like there's too many ways to hit the Glacier hard. Maybe with a fighting move from Gigas, but like, I guess you can Will-O-Wisp it with Coughing or something like that. But yeah, it doesn't look like there was too much to hit the Glacier with. But they didn't even bring the Glacier game 2. And we see the Mimikyu picking up some kills. We see Quagsire being brought as well. So yeah, and actually I think the Slowpokes have used Absol before. Absol's interesting, but
yeah, those crits can be nice sometimes.
Yeah, especially maybe trying to crit through the Intimidate with Arcanine. Maybe that was the idea. Because it looks like the Terrors brought Arcanine both games. I don't know, but good win for the Terrors. Are they in a 2-game win streak or no?
The Terrors. I don't think they are. Wait, the Terrors are 2 and 3, right?
Oh yeah, they lost to Rebellion last week. That's right. Yes, you're right. Actually, no, they're coming off a losing streak. Actually, yeah, they won that first week against Womble, and then now they're back to a second win. So good for them. Getting there, getting off that losing streak and taking the win here. Maybe they're starting to figure out their team more. Who knows?
Yep. I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe it just needed time to simmer. Let all the flavors in the tonkatsu simmer. Settle in, and then you've got a nice little recipe. Next match was the St. Lucie Luxrays take the 2-0 over Stinglaker Rabombi. Stinglaker Rabombi, who was previously one of the higher team. Well, he still is one of the higher teams. He was 3-1. He drops to 3-2. And the Luxrays just had a plan for that mono poison. Did you watch the match?
I did.
Thought it was
pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was.
Yes. So based on how the Rabombis were, I didn't really have time to look too much into the matchups. So like this week, I had voted for the Rabombis just because they seemed like they were on a hot streak, and I was like, oh man, Rabombis are doing well. But then when I saw what the Luxrays had, like when I actually watched the game, I was like, oh my gosh, Bronzong, Metagross, that Piloswine, like I was just like, oh my gosh, they have such good counters to this mono poison.
Mm-hmm.
So not surprising to see the 2-0 once I realized what they had as good counters. So, and I think they played it well too. They had some really interesting sets. Was this the one where they had Reflect on the?
They had light screen on the Piloswine. Yeah.
Light screen on the Piloswine. Yeah, so interesting. I honestly, I'm extremely impressed with how useful this Piloswine's been. In the initial draft, like when we had the team overview, I really didn't know how useful Piloswine would be with Eviolite, but I've been putting in work for the Luxrays.
Yeah, it seems to bring it in it, and it's, I mean, it's one of those like Eviolite Pokemon that you're like, it's not that strong because it's like a middle evolution, and it usually needs Eviolite, and like, how is Piloswine going to utilize Eviolite that well? But it still does good damage, and it's actually really bulky with Eviolite. Well, I thought it was interesting, and Rabombi mentioned this in his side of the video, was that, yeah, they had 3 Pokemon that were really good into Poison, which was the Piloswine, Metagross, and Bronzong, but they're all 3 weak to Fire, yet 2 of them have abilities that neutralize that weakness. That's Heat Proof and then Thick Fat. It's kind of crazy, yeah. And he did bring both of them, and I was thinking, he could be Earthquaking under that Bronzong if had Levitate, which could have been just really disgusting damage, like Earthquake and Expanding Force going off. But at the same time, that Heat Proof was definitely needed. And I think the Luxrays actually played really well. They put pressure on Batista, and I think Batista could have squeezed out of it if he made the right calls and the right reads, but he had to make those reads, and he didn't end up doing that.
Right. They were risky plays that he would
Yeah.
have had to make, and
Hmm.
sometimes you don't always want to take those risks mid game when you can't. You don't know how the end game's going to play out, but
Yeah.
um,
Like the double
yeah,
protect on the
definitely.
Bronzong. The double protect on the Bronzong was just completely. I would never expected that. Like going for the double protect. I
Right.
mean, maybe it was an accident, or maybe it was like a really nice. I mean, it was a really nice play. It ended up being a really nice play. And then the expanding force and the psychic terrain tech on the Bronzong was pretty nice. Um,
Yeah, that's what Lucian brought that against me as well. The expanding force and psychic terrain. So with Bronzong, it's interesting. It's getting used similarly.
and then
Um,
and then in game two, so I think I can't remember if the Skuntank was led, but it. I think it was Batista was trying to make a read that he'd switch to Metagross, but he didn't want to do it. So instead of going to the foul play in the Rotom, he went for the crunch and he switches in the Metagross. And foul play would have done a lot more in the Metagross. And I think depending on how it's EV'd, the Metagross could have been one shot by that.
yeah.
I think it probably would have been, unless it was like way more defensively invested. But
You never know.
and
Yeah.
then instead of going for the foul play into the Metagross, or instead of going for another
Get
crunch in the
crunched.
Metagross, it went for the foul play, and then he switched back to Rotom, and
Right.
it was able to, so he just made two really good calls there to switch out, and
Yeah, I mean, since Crunch did over half to the Metagross, I think Crunch was always the play there. But yeah, mid game, maybe he just didn't think about it.
yeah,
But the Luxuries too. I think game one, the Rabomis mentioned that if they got that nasty plot off, then Shadow Ball would OHKO the Metagross. If it either didn't have something like AV, or like special defense investment maybe, but it looked like the Metagross lived that Shadow Ball, and I mean, maybe this is nitpicky, but I know that the Rabomis, they had that black. I think did they have black sludge on the or leftovers or something like that
yeah,
on
yeah.
the slogan? I mean, I probably would. I think Stomping Tantrum looked like it was doing like 40%. I mean, I would have gone for like the quad protect, on the on the Slowking as the out. I think he just protected once to heal up a little bit more, and then went for the Shadow Ball. But like, I would go for that double, triple, quad protect, whatever I needed to get to like above the amount of health I needed to survive one more Stomping Tantrum.
True. If it's your only out,
I,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, sure, it's like a probably less than 1% chance, but hey, you never know. You never know. It could happen. So just saying. Go for it. Don't always think you're out of it. You know, if you need a quad protect to win it, I mean, how epic would that be?
that's actually
You get
true.
it.
That's actually very true. Well, congrats to the St. Lucie Luxrays on that one. The next game, I don't think it was posted in a video either. The
I think
Blazekins
so.
take the 2-0 over Vic Axos, the Arcanine, still trying to fight for that win. Can't quite get it.
I know. Yeah. I think he maybe he's still figuring out Series 10 or his team, but I mean we've seen some good play from the Blazekins, so not super surprising there, I would say. And I mean, this is where Buzzwole started to shine, I think.
Yeah, it appears so because now it's tied in first with the Killiers, and
I know. But what's funny is looking at the what the Arcanines brought. It's actually really surprising that the Buzzwole did so well. Because as you know, Buzzwole doesn't have the best special defense, and being that fighting type, it's weak to Fairy. And the Arcanines brought Adderine and Togepi, and they have the Araquanid, which I'm not sure. I guess Buzzwole could run like Thunder Punch or something like that, but
yeah,
it's not like it has stab into Araquanid. And then even game 2, Hatterene, Togepi, and the Regieleki, which the Regieleki has you know amazing special attack, and if with those electric moves with transistor. So I'm sure it would hit the Buzzwole hard, but I don't know. It'd be interesting when that game comes out to see how it actually played out, because I'm so curious how this Buzzwole just uh, you know
He said,
hosted the Arcanines.
he said, I'm here to represent the bugs.
Yeah, you know what? We could see another bug take the kill leader this season, as we did
Yeah,
last.
we could. I don't think it'll quite reach Crustle status, but what did Crustle have, like 30 kills last season or something? I don't know.
Something like that, yeah.
Something really
Without
low.
even having any playoff kills either.
So, yeah. Well, maybe we'll see that one later if there's a recording and talk about it more, or I don't know. But the next match, which we can talk about, because it was recorded, we can talk about it a little more. All I gotta say is Guzzlord. Rolled Gold Pretzels take the 2-0 over their Irish Incineroars, and I watched this match today, and I think I'm trying to think. I think the Incineroars could have actually made a play to win game one.
Yeah.
The assault vest on the Cinderace by Goomy was really, really nice. I think the Incineroars, if they targeted certain mons, I think there was a play where like he targeted with the Fishious Wren. I think the Fishious Wren could have knocked out the Clefable. And
Yes.
he chose
Yes,
not
I know which
to.
play you're talking about. Yeah.
And I feel
Yep.
like that was the better play. Because
Right. Taking out the Clefable was definitely the play with Dracovish. We saw the Fisher's Wren do a little bit over half, I think, so another one surely would kill it. Whether it went for that follow me or not, because obviously follow me. Because the first time I think it hit it, the Clefable used follow me, so it was half damage. Because it didn't get that bonus since follow me goes first. But so yeah, even if it goes for follow me, you know that it's going to pick up the kill. But sometimes I'm not sure if it was a situation where he expected the follow me, so he just targeted the other mon. But if you want to get rid of those redirectors, you better target them, because they are not just always follow me bots, especially not coming from Goomy.
So I don't know if the Incineroars would have definitely capitalized on that play and won the game, but I remember thinking it would have put them in a way better position
Yeah.
the Assault Vest Cinderace in the back coming out and being hard to take down, like that Earth Power from the Venusaur, just unable to pick up it really didn't do a whole lot on a Cinderace, just because that AV and that
Right.
bulk was nice. So, and then game 2 was just Guzzlord saying, I want to eat dinner. I want to finish this out quickly, and just he guzzed all over him.
Yes, he did. Lots of guzzing that game.
Lots of guzzing.
Well, you know what? I will say too that I've always kind of thought like Porygon has only 20 less base stats, I think, in each stat than Porygon 2, which is significant, but I mean, with the EVLite, it's still got some decent bulk, and I've always kind of theorized that Porygon might be decent, but Goomy's definitely making it work this season. I like how he's utilizing the Porygon.
Oh yeah, that's Porygon is not frail, and it's a nice trick room setter. I think normal types are. That's part of the reason Porygon's so popular, and is because normal types are actually defensively pretty darn good.
Right.
They're just offensively not necessarily the best in many situations, but defensively they only get hit by fighting for super effective damage, and they have a ghost immunity. So it's like a safe defensive option.
For sure. I mean, unless you have stab fighting, there's probably no way you're OHKOing a Porygon with Eviolite.
Yeah. But that being said, this is the series of the fighting mons, because close combat is just on almost every fighting mon, and it's just so 100% accurate,
Very
super
true.
powerful. Just but we've talked about that.
But yeah, good stuff coming out from Goomy. Keeps that undefeated streak going.
Yep, he's showing us the mustard, showing us the cheese. In the next match, I also just watched this today. The Pacific Slow Bros take the 2-0 over the Norwegian Germanity. This was a clash of the Titans. And we saw this last season. Clopsia took the 2-0 over Otto. But this season, Otto takes the 2-0 over the Darmanitans. Goomer, you want to talk about this one first?
Yeah, I mean it was bound to happen eventually. I I'm trying to think how game one went. I just remember game one there being a situation. I think it was the end where um, he could have wicked blowed um, the Gorge Geist, which was setting up Trick Room for a second time, and the Reiku could have gone for something in his Steelix, maybe a Scald, maybe an Aura Sphere, not sure. I'm not even sure if it had those. I know it went for an extra sensory into the Gorge Geist. Maybe going for the flinch, which I think extra sensory might have like a 30% flinch chance. Um,
I think it's 20. I'm
Check
actually
that
not sure,
actually.
but I think it's
Is
20.
it 20?
I don't really
It
know.
might. Um, let's see here. It's actually only 10 to flinch.
So,
So, um, yeah, I mean, 10% chance to flinch. Maybe he thought that was his out. So I think that's fair to go. It's not like he was throwing it away or anything like that. And the close combat too. I'm not. I mean, barely not picking up that Steelix. Because if it did, then he could hope for para chances on the Ndidi, and maybe have an out there. So, um, I mean, it's fair to go for what he went for sure. I just think potentially doubling the Gorge Geist or making sure that Trick Room didn't get up might have put him in a better position. I know we know the Steelix went for a body press into the Urshifu, and Urshifu is really good defense. So depending on Otto's spread, I think he had said it was a roll to kill without that close combat defense drop. So if he had gone for the wicked blow into the Gorge Geist, maybe would have survived that body press. It might get interesting from there. Um, but overall, I mean, um, a really good showing from Otto as we've seen. Game two, I can't quite remember what happened. I,
it
I
was
think
it was
the
all Articuno.
yes, yeah, those air slashes are strong.
So, I mean, game one, and I just want to say that I'm so happy Steelix did puts in some work because Steelix, I think, is one of like the coolest Pokemon, and I've always wanted it to
I
be
actually
viable and useful. But it's just like I look at the Pokemon, then I look at the stats, and I'm like, they shanked this Pokemon's stats. Like this thing should have 130 attack. This thing is so cool. It's massive.
that's true.
It should have better
That's true.
HP than what does it have, like 70 base HP or something? I don't know. I'm like, if this Pokemon needs like 100 base HP and like 120 attack, I don't know. Maybe then it'd be too strong. But I just think it's one of the coolest steel. Like it's in my mind like the steel type, and they kind of just I don't know. It's just its stats sometimes fall short, but I think in Series 10 it's actually pretty good, and it looks good being on Otto's team there, and maybe Clopsia wanted to bring the Toros to intimidate it for game two, but it just ended up boosting up that Articuno, and Articuno went to town.
Right. I think game two, Otto went for a game winning play because he he'd already won game one. He said, right? Or was that in a different match?
I'm not sure.
I'd have to check it again. But um, I don't know why I can't remember what happened during this game now. So many. But I will say that it's pretty ballsy of Coloxia to bring the Tauros when Otto's got that Bisharp and Articuno Galar with Defiant and competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, really interesting there. Uh, but I didn't even realize it until looking at the stats now that Steelix actually got all four of the KOs game one. I mean, that's insane.
Steelix put in work.
Well, and Otto always seems to find a way to use these quote unquote bad steel types. I know he used Aggron to um, good effect last season, and now he's using Steelix well. So good for him to find uses for these steel types that I feel like are typically written off by people.
Yeah, but Otto does Otto things again. So yeah, big 2-0 there. That's a big 2-0 over against one of the better teams.
Yeah. Oh, one other interesting point to the game that I remembered was I think the Ndidi, he brought fake out again, and I think game two the Thwacky was led, and the Thwacky was slower than the Ndidi, so grassy terrain went up. And I'm not sure if Otto planned this or what, but I think what's really cool is if Ndidi is slower than Thwacky, Ndidi will get the psychic terrain up. And then you can just go for like expanding forces or something like that, right? Because you have the terrain control. But if Thwacky is slower, then Thwacky gets the grassy terrain up. And if the grassy terrain goes up second, Thwacky's slower, which means you can guaranteed fake out the Thwacky before Thwacky fake outs you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was like a sort of a win-win situation that he planned for.
Yeah, it was a win-win situation for Otto to bring fake out in that scenario, and so I think it was really neat. And I'm not sure if he planned for that or what, but I thought that was because since Thwacky can't fake out in Psychic Drain, if Thwacky's faster, then the Psychic Drain goes up. You don't have any of that fake out pressure. So
I do believe in that lead for game 2 that Thwacky actually went for the fake out and then Ndidi, and I was a little curious about that because it seems like, especially in grassy terrain, Ndidi's not going to do a whole lot. So I think faking.
But it can't follow me though.
What's that?
Like I'm saying, if you get the fake out off, it won't be able to follow me.
Yeah, that's true. So he might have been going for a fake out and then a wicked blow into the Articuno. Although you could just fake out the Articuno, go for the wicked blow into the Ndidi, maybe in the next turn try to. I'm not sure.
True.
And I think actually both were viable plays now that I think about it, but I think he just made the wrong call there and didn't expect the fake out on the Ndidi. Not necessarily the wrong call.
Right.
An unfortunate call.
Especially in a scenario where you have two potential psychic drains going up, the likelihood of being able to use that fake out, which is only going to come out, if the Wacky comes out on the same turn as Ndidi, kind of risky, but then again, maybe there's just not better moves to run on Ndidi, so a good bring by Otto for sure.
It was unexpected and it paid off. That's what we like to see. Another crazy Ndidi tech.
Oh yeah.
So this next match is almost a loss on the side of Toots, but he squeaks it out 2-1 over the Bristol Bewares. Bristol Bewares, they won game 1. They positioned really well. I forget exactly who they brought, but they positioned really well. I think they ended up using the Executor.
Yes.
Yeah, they played this one well. And then game 2, Whimsicott ended up getting all 4 KOs, which is something you never see. And I think Whimsicott got 6 kills in this whole set, which is half the kills on the side of Toots. Or actually more.
I thought that was really interesting by Toots bringing the offensive Whimsicott, which you don't normally see. I mean, I thought that was a great bring though, considering what the Bewares have.
Yeah, but it didn't work. Obviously, the game, I think game 2 had 4 kills and game 3 had 2 kills. It had 2 kills somewhere else,
yep.
But
it had 2 kills in game 3.
But so it seemed like the Bewares didn't really have a plan for game 2 and 3 because it took kind of a while to select their moves, and I think they did time out a couple times, unfortunately for them. But then, I was a little.
I think the other issue. I was gonna say the other issue was it didn't seem like they had great options to get rid of that Whimsicott. I know we've seen that gunk shot on the live part, but I think they actually didn't bring the gunk shot this time. I think they brought. Did they bring
throat shot?
And then the right thing was we Conk had like fighting moves and Thunder Punch, those are all not very effective in a Whimsicott. Gastron, I don't even think brought Ice Beam. The Gastron might have had Sludge Bomb if I remember though.
I think it. I think it did. It had,
Yeah,
but regardless, I think it had a nice move additionally. So, I mean, a Sludge Bomb would have been nice there, especially since the Sash was not on the Whimsicott, it was on the Lycanroc. So, Sludge Bomb would have been ideal. But then again, you're going against
yeah,
a
but I mean,
Whimsicott, so Whimsicott can probably just outgo you with the Grass move. So, it's kind of awkward.
yeah, well, an Executor having to either use a Grass move or go for Ancient Power, which is only 60 power non-stab. I mean, that's not ideal. So, um,
Yeah, he was banking on some H
ironically,
power boosts.
yeah, for sure. But I
But
mean, Leaf Storm. I was gonna say Leaf Storm was actually stronger in Whimsicott though, which I remember we heard Gert commentating about it. Because Leaf Storm is 130 plus stab, is gonna be about 195 power, whereas Ancient. I mean, even if it's not very effective, that's 195 divided by two. That's almost 100 power. Ancient power is still only 60 power. So Leaf Storm is gonna be doing more than 1.5 the damage.
yeah, it was a risky play, and it like Ancient Power, it's just not going to do damage. It's really, I feel like really he was just going for those boosts, which would have actually put him in a nice position, but it's just kind of risky.
It is
And
risky.
then I was a little confused. Game three,
Yeah.
I forget what he went for. So it was a Flygon and Suicune on the side of Toots, and then it was Liepard Executor on the side of the Bristol Bewares. Now I believe he protected and Thunderwave the he protected and taunted the Suicune, thinking it could have had Tailwind, but the Suicune did have, I think it was revealed that it should have had Scarf, because if it outsped
Yeah,
the
I don't know that the Beware
Electivire,
is picked up.
it should have had
Yeah.
Scarf. And I mean, you could be Scarf Tailwind, but it's maybe a little less likely. So I feel like the taunt
Right.
wouldn't have been as useful as like a Thunder Wave. I think a Thunder Wave could have been the play there, like protect Thunder Wave. But I think ultimately, I think he needed to go for a Sunny Day and a Leaf Storm, like that. The Snarl is going to be super annoying, but then also that Flagon revealed U-turn, and that U-turn is going to whack. It's just going to OHKO that Executor no matter what. So I feel like in that position, you either have to switch out or you have to say, you know what, Executor, you're probably going down here, but at least I can just knock out this Suicune with the Leaf Storm. It doesn't matter if you get that -2 special attack, like, because you're just going down anyway. So I think
Yeah.
whether he attacked the Flagon or the Suicune, I think Leaf Storm was definitely the play there, and it looked like it would have knocked out the Suicune, but I think the clock was running down. And he was trying to think about options, and he ended up going for the Energy Ball, but not a bad play. But
I think I think the other thing is Toots lost that game one, but made a great adjustment by bringing Manectric instead of that Lycanroc Midnight, and I think that
yeah,
Manectric just caused a lot of trouble for the Bewares because it just makes it so awkward to go for Thunder Punch with Conk, to go for an electric move with Electivire, and even to go for the Thunder Wave with Liepard. You can't
yep,
safely do any of those, and so it really makes it tough for the Bewares, and you know, yeah, this is again, yeah, it's just funny just looking at the stats here. Like Steelix getting, like, I didn't even realize it during the game. Steelix got 4 KOs for Otto. Same thing for Toot. I watched this whole game and I remember Whimsicott putting in work, but I didn't even realize he got all 4 KOs that game too. I mean, that's just still incredible.
I know it's
Um,
crazy. This is
but
gleaming.
I know. I mean, it hits all of the Beware's mons they brought for good damage, and then except for the Electivire, which that Yachi Berry saving it from those ice punches. So
Yeah,
just really good bring from Toots overall, and good adjustments.
absolutely. And Toots has gone to a lot of game threes, but he's pulled them out. So he definitely is a
Yeah.
player who's used to game threes. He can adjust, and it's worked out. He has a nice bulky team with a lot of options, and I think that's how he plays. If he doesn't win game one, he has so many options and things that he's prepped for that he can make those adjustments and pull out those sets. So congrats to Toots for another win. Um, this last set we're going to talk about, the Sussex Sableyes take the 2 over the Killer Crocodiles. This one was Mr. Rhyme, baby.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it was rhyme time, and especially game 2, like I think he went with the same strategy both games. He went for like I think a fake out with the Togedemaru and then just set trick room with Mr. Rhyme and then just went from there. But it's game 2. I think he might have 4-0'd. I can't remember with that combo, but that combo was vicious.
Yeah, I think he like read a switch in and go for a freeze dry and just take a free KO right off the bat or something like that.
He did. I know he made. I don't know if he read that exact switch, but he did go for a freeze dry into a slot where the Ludicolo switched in, and then it was just Dunzo.
Yeah, I think that's when the Crocodiles just forfeited from there. But
I think the Crocodiles actually might have made a misplay because they ended up switching in Magnezone and going for an Earthquake, which would have been fine under the Zapdos, but he switched out the Zapdos, maybe predicting a freeze dry, which was great. He predicted the freeze dry, and then he took the freeze dry, but then it broke his Sturdy, and then the Earthquake killed him. It looked to me like some type of misclick, and I think the Crocodiles were like, you know what, this is just not my day, and I just misplayed.
Yes.
I just misplayed really bad. I just kind of want to be done.
I do remember,
and that is an unfortunate. Maybe he timed out or something, but yeah, that was unfortunate because either play would have been nice. The Earthquake under the Zapdos or the switch in on the with the Magnezone, but those together were.
Well, and I'm looking at the battle report now, and I see that the Girolola got an indirect kill. I think for that Magnezone, but I'm not sure if that really counts as an indirect kill.
I don't think it's supposed to.
Yeah, I think that's more for like if you set weather
like burn or
burn or something like that. But yeah, I mean that was the phenomenal bring by the Sableyes, and the Sableyes have proved to be pretty solid this season. They've gone to a couple game 3s, and they've taken some wins from at least games from good players already, and so getting their second win here, good for them. Maybe they're gonna make a little comeback here late in the season. Who knows?
I could for sure see that happening. They looked really comfortable in that set. They had a plan. They played well. Just all around really good by the Sableyes there. Well, do you want to hop into your top 24?
Top 24. I'm down.
Let's do it. All right. Again, my screen is going wonky. Okay, here we go. So, 24th, we got Vikak and his Aussie Arcanines. So, I still believe in you, Vikak, but you haven't gotten a win. So,
I think we've had a winless team. All of the seasons, so hopefully Vikak can break that cycle.
Break the curse, Vikak. Break the curse. Team voltage is still within you, but yeah, we got to put him in number 24th because he hasn't taken a game this season. So, number 24, Aussie Arcanines. Number 23, Dilfu. They did have that one win over the Crusting Sylvalis, but they are 1-4. They took a loss over one of the top teams, the Bolton Bashers. So. They had that interesting stabilized set. It wasn't able to do the work, though. And, so they're still down here on number 23rd. 22, the Killer Crocodiles. They have also had some good sets this season, but they're still 1-4. And, they got really bested by the Sableyes this week. So sitting down here at 22, the Bristol Bewares. They did take a game off of the Suicune, which is a top team right now. But, they fell short. They weren't able to adjust and play and finish out the set, so they lost 1-2, or they're 1-4 in the season. They definitely have a team capable of doing a lot, but with their record, they're down here, 21st. Chelsea Park Slowpokes, I think they're still figuring out how to use this coughing and this Regigigas, the traffic light monster. But they haven't been able to do it so far, and they're 1-4, and they're sitting down here at number 20. Sylvalis, who I beat this week, they still have they're a very hard team to prep for. They have a lot of combos. I think I just made the right calls to beat them this week. They're a scary team to face, but they are 1-4, so they are down here. I think they're 1-4, right? Yeah. So they are down here at number 19.
Yeah, now jumping into that third row here, number 18, we've got the Tokyo Terrors, picking up their second win after a little bit of a losing streak. And you know that they picked up that Glacier who can't Dynamax, and I think it's definitely less threatening in this type of format. But hey, it was able to get some kills this week. You're not sure if it was just the matchup or if they're learning how to use it a little bit better. But either way, good for the Terrors picking up that win. So we'll see if they'll be able to continue this, getting these wins here. Hopefully they don't go on a losing streak again. And we've got at 17, we've got the Brisbane Blazekins putting in work with that Buzzwole this week. And I think the Blazekins are they were one of our high threat teams initially. I still think they have a ton of threats on their team. Really scared to look out for. And they've won a UGA division before. So definitely not a team you can discount, even down here at 17. So we'll see if they can figure out this non-max format, and I'd still be scared to face them for sure. Number 16, we've got the Irish Incineroars. I feel like they're sometimes they've come out and they've brought some good stuff, and then sometimes it's not the best. But then again, they were facing the number one team, Goomy, this week, so you can't fault them too much for that. But we'll see if the Irish Incineroars are able to bounce back from that. And I think they've still got 2 wins under the belt, so hopefully they can pick up a little bit more. Luxrays, coming off of a losing streak, I believe, able to knock down those poison ones from Batista. Really, really good sets from them. Really creative, and hopefully they can keep it up. Grimmsnarls, or whoever might be replacing them at 14 here. We haven't seen them play for 2 weeks now, so or they haven't played for 2 weeks now. So they were on kind of a hot streak in the beginning, but it's unfortunate that they kind of went rogue. So we're not sure, what's really happened, but can't keep them up in those top 2 rows if you're not playing your games. So now we're into 13, the Warriors, which that might be low for what their potential is. I think they've still got an extremely scary team. One of the 2 Urshifus. They've got Psychic Terrain. Lot of cool combos, but it just they've taken a forfeit loss, and then they've taken a close loss to me for sure, and then Embors actually did a little bit better against them, getting the 2-0. So I still don't think the Warriors will end down here at 13. I think they'll make a little bit of a comeback these last couple weeks. They've got the team for it for sure. So hopefully they can make it back into these top 2 rows and potentially snag a playoff spot.
So number 12, we're getting to the row number 2. The Conway Embors. They moved up quite a bit since week 1. They've just been continually climbing. We thought they are 2 and 3. We thought they were one of the better 2 and 3 teams. They just seem like they have solid gameplay. I never really watched their matches and think, I don't know why the heck they went with that, but I just think they have a solid team. They seem like a solid player. They've been playing good games, and they got a win over Water the Warriors, which are a very good team. So, we decided it was time for them to jump up to the second row. Number 11, we have the Sussex Sableize. Again, a team that they didn't start out super hot, but they have just solid gameplay and good game plans, and they're just the type of team where, like, you know if you're going up against them and you slack on your prep, they are going to beat you. So they're just all-around good gameplay. They took a very commanding win this week, so they moved up to number 11. We decided that they were the best-looking 2 and 3 team out here. Number 10 is the Northampton Celestillas. They have had 2 forfeit wins, so it was really awkward to know where to place them. So, but it's always good to suck up to the commissioner. So, no, but they got a very good win this week over the Manitans. So it's hard to tier them, but I mean I think that the Celestillas, they have a really nice looking team, and they had a big win this week. So number 10 they sit. Number 9, Sting like Rabombi. One of my favorite logos. They took a 0-2 loss this week against a team that was just prepared for him. I mean, Batista knows sometimes you go the monotypes and you go up against a team who just has your number. They had a really nice team against them and a really nice plan, so the Lux Race beat them. And but they're still 3-2, still got a winning record. So they're sitting up here at number 9. The Massachusetts Manitans. I think I said previously that I could not see them dropping below number 8, and they're still within the top 8. So don't let me down. Just Taco. He's got a super scary team. I don't know what happened, but he just got bested by the Northampton Celestillas and took another loss. I think they started off 3-0, now they're 3-2. So they're trying to get back in next week. Probably trying to get back in the winner's seat. So we'll see how they do. This next team, Norwegian Germanity, sit at number 7. They're very hard to tier because even though they're 3-2, both their losses are to the top 2 teams in the league right now, according to our tier list or rankings or whatever. So it was really hard to rank them. Like you could potentially say they're better than number 4 or 5 or 6. It's really hard to rank because they've only taken losses from the top 2 teams. But they are 3-2, so we put them at number 7. We'll see how Calypso can manage these, to finish out this season. Still a very good team.
And now we move into the top row. Toots finding himself there again after a nice 3-game comeback here, taking it 2-1. And I think it's definitely deserved. I think Toots has gone to a couple game 3s and he's able to clutch it out, adjust his team for sure. His team's still super scary, and he's just playing well this season. I like his gameplay. And I mean, his one loss is Toots 4-1 right now? Yeah. I was gonna say his one loss is to Otto, which, we've got him ranked number 2 right now, and so I think that's totally fair. And then there's me at number 5, and my one loss was to Rebellion at number 3. So. I think I'm starting to figure out my team a little bit more, which is nice. I think that I don't think I have the scariest team, but as Otto said earlier today, deceptively good. So who knows? I'll take it. But hopefully I can tweak out some more wins in these final weeks. Got some tough games ahead of me. And then number 4, you with the Tyrantar sauces. I mean, I think you've had some really nice, consistent gameplay. I feel like you've been able to make solid game plans and plays that aren't super risky, which I think is not what I can say for sure. So I think you've been playing consistent. You had that one loss to my guy, really intense set. So yeah, I think it's totally fair that you're up here at the top of the 4-1s. And then moving into our top 3 undefeated. Lucian again been playing well. He's 4-0 though, so we haven't gotten to see him play this week. Since he was facing the Grimmsnarls. Not sure if that match will be played. Either way, we can. It's not like he lost this week, so no reason to move him down. That spot's definitely deserved, and he's been bringing heat, and it's been working. Boots have been smoked, so hopefully he can keep it up. And then jumping into number 2, no change here. Otto picking up the 2-0 this week. Big win against Calypso. Just great play from Otto this season. He's really just been bringing it. Some really interesting techs. I think he's been using the Indeedee in some really cool ways. And definitely extremely scary team to prep for. I feel like we haven't seen many misplays from Otto this season either. So that in combination with not even dropping a game yet, I mean, number 2 is well deserved. Number 1, we've got Goomy. No reason to switch him up with the other undefeated teams yet, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see how the play comes in these final weeks. But again, Goomy's just been playing well. He's been using his team well. I think he's brought some really good prep. It seems like he's brought the exact prep he needs to just put pressure on and do well against his opponents. So I think he's been making the right calls. He's been playing well, and yeah, I think his only game dropped was against Colopsia, if I'm not mistaken. So who again has an extremely scary team as well. So yeah, well deserved at number 1, and we're still interested to see if these 3 teams can go undefeated the rest of the season. I don't think any of them play each other the rest of the season. So actually, I think Otto and Rebellion might face. So I think one of them is going to have to fall potentially. Do Otto and Rebellion face?
I think they do. It might be.
I think it might be week 8. No, yeah, wait. Yeah, in week 8. So at a max, we're only going to be left with 2 undefeated teams. But will we have less? 1 or 0? Only time will tell.
All right, then. Should we move on to the fun slide?
Yeah.
Fun slide time.
Let's do it.
Fun slide time. My screen's going crazy. It freaks me out.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. So, why don't you explain this stuff, Goomer?
Yes. So on the top here, we've got the top ciders of the week. Who there was only 11 games because the Grimmsnarls and Rebellion didn't get played. But on the top here, we've got the weekly top 3, and then on the bottom, we've got the overall top 3. No surprise, you're seeing Matrix in both of those. I'm not sure if he's getting inside info from the prep here. Just able to know what's going on and able to make these predictions more accurately. But whatever he's doing, he's been calling a lot of the games correctly. And the only one he missed, which it seems like the Lux Rays and White Rabbit seems to be his bane, was that game against Lux Rays and Rabombies. So
Matrix is
so good for him.
Matrix is he's sneaking off into alleys in the middle of the night and he's meeting a guy in the trench coat, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I got inside info. I think
prep.
I think the Bashers are bringing Spec Stunfist this week. I don't think it's looking good. Vote against him." And then he's getting that inside info somewhere. He's got scouts, I swear.
He's gotta. That's the only explanation. That percentage is just too high. But yeah, I mean, me and Womble both had 9 of the 11 games right, so only missed 2 of them. I missed the Lux Rays versus Rabombies as well, and like I said, I didn't look too much into the matchup. And after seeing the game and what Lux Rays brought, I'm like, oh wow, like that's actually a really good matchup in the Rabombies. So that's on me for not doing my research. But and then Mantans and Celestillas, Mantans has just been on a hot streak, so I didn't really have a reason to doubt him. But it was also tough to rate Womble after having 2 forfeit wins in a row. Or no, I think he had a forfeit win in week 2, maybe. I can't remember. But either way, he's had 2 forfeit wins, so we haven't seen as much from his team. But he brought the heat against Manitans, and so good for him. Which, moving on to Womble, I think that's hilarious that he also missed his own game, but I know he likes to vote for the opponents a lot, so good for him. And with a little prep, it sounded like he did. Maybe it was understandable why he voted for the Mantans, but he also missed the big game, Calypso and Otto, and I think that's totally fair. I mean, that I think they're such strong teams that was totally a toss up. So it's good stuff coming from the predictions. And hey, I know not everybody does the predictions, but hey, if you could get featured on here if you want to, make some predictions. And I think I think this week, since Otto was the premier, he said he didn't even vote on any games. So he was in the hunt. Now he's not. But the top three ain't changing. It's still Whale Lords up there, extending their lead. 5% more accurate than the Pretzels and the White Rabbit right now. But I mean, not too far behind is Gert. Then it's me, Womble, Rebellion, M&M's, Colopsia, and DMJF makes an appearance as Otto forgot to make his predictions. So maybe we'll see some other people hop in there. Who knows? All I know is, based on the results right now, I really hope Matrix votes for me each week.
Vote for me. Vote for me, please.
Yeah.
Tell me how.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he's got influence on the games. He votes for somebody, and then they just get inspired to win.
Maybe.
Besides White Rabbit, well, no, I guess White Rabbit won when we voted against him. So I don't know.
The power of the pilot swine.
If Matrix is voting for you, you should be inspired.
If
he's voting against you,
statistically,
you should try even harder
you should
to win
win.
that game.
Exactly.
Well, yes, but you should try even harder to win if he's voting against you, because we need to dethrone Matrix here as the future site contender.
All right. Well, I think that's all we got today for this week's Power Rankings.
Yes, that's all we've got. I mean, week 5, like we said last week, we checked out the rankings. Really exciting. I think we have a lot of 2 and 3 teams actually. And 3 and 2, we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 and 3 teams. Potentially 8 actually if the Hidden Leaf Grimmsnarls team gets that forfeit loss against Rebellion for being overdue. So potentially 1/3 of the league is 2 and 3, which at this stage is like just that's just wild card toss up right there. So much competitiveness. I still believe that we are going to have a 4-4 team make playoffs. It's my prediction. What do you think?
I have no idea. I'm gonna say yes. I think it's gonna be close.
You think we do have one?
I think it's gonna be yes. I think it's close. I think it's gonna come down to the wire.
Well, yeah, it is close because right now, in terms of wild card, we've got 2 teams at 3 and 2, and then it's all up to the 2 and 3 teams. So if it keeps staying that close, and people and teams keep beating each other, and then I think we could very well see a lot of 4 and 4s, and one of them making playoffs at least.
For sure. It's going to be a close one. Well, good luck to everybody in week 6. We had a great week 5, and we expect the same from week 6. So good luck to everybody. And I think that's all we got for this week's Power Rankings.
I think that's what we got. Hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.